Oh, hang on. Get this thing turned around. Nobody's here yet, so I'm cool. Anyway, so I guess before anybody gets here, I'll just deliver the intro. I gotta turn off my air conditioner real quick. I was trying to, I made the introduction the other day. What's going on, Adam? Haven't forgot about you, brother. I was gonna type this in the comments. I'm working on that video to be able to send it to you and Scotty from the Transfiguration Day, so y'all will be able to hear the melodies and everything. And I'll do that next. I was really debating on whether or not to focus on the bad side of music or to do that. But I think this is important for everybody else. Let me turn up my because I can't see any of you. Um, so sorry I'm so disorganized. I almost did this yesterday. Hi Angela, how's it going? I will say to anyone that'll be tuning in later, I did the other live stream. I'm horrible at paying attention to the chat when I get to talking and thinking, and I'll try and do more of that this time. So if I missed you, um, then I apologize. I'm just bad at it. A lady named Joanne told me how to say her name, and I kept calling her Joan. And after it, I was just watching it. But anyway, uh, so the purpose of this video is to what's going on, Jimmy? How's it going? The purpose of this video is to dive into how in I'm not gonna go over every form of music. I guess it's a way I kind of understand poetry. I'm kind of a right brain, left handed person, and I'm gonna try and go over how I see things when I pay attention to the spirit behind things, and when I listen to music, why it makes me feel a certain way and think about certain things. And and whether I'm not even talking about certain emotions, I pay attention to the emotions that come along with that. You listen to a certain rock song, and you're next thing you know, you're doing 90 miles an hour, behind the wheel, and you didn't even realize why that happened. And so that's a part of it, that rhythm, that beat that's in there. What's up, Jenny? Uh, but but there I daydream a lot, and when I'm listening to music, it's heightened, and I notice that if I listen to I do a lot of self analysis, and if I'm listening to a song, and I start just daydreaming about whatever the song is, making me think about. It makes me wonder why is that, and it allows me to see the spiritual side behind it. So I'm going to go over a little bit of pop, a little bit of rock and roll, and a little bit of country, and how I see the satanic spirit inside of it. I think in the next video, some of the things, I don't know if I'm going to talk about some of it, but in the next video, I'm going to make some things clearer if I do address that, because we can obviously see that there's some people. If you take Marilyn Manson, for example, and I do need to look up the lyrics to that song, but if you take Manson, for example, you can clearly see that there's an Antichrist spirit there. I mean, the dude says, Antichrist superstar in his music. What's the name of that? Beautiful People. Um, and I forgot where I was going with that. I can't type. Oh, man, what was that? That's so important. It's not about the song. Um, I completely drew a blank. I can't do all this at once. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. That's gonna drive me insane. Anyway, music meant for worship. So in one way or another, they're edifying some spirit of. Thank you. So you can clearly see in Marilyn Manson's music that he is trying to put a certain spirit out there. As a matter of fact, he did an interview with Channel 4 News. It's a British, they're in Great Britain. The country music is hardest for me to listen to. It gets offensive. The easiest might be familiar spirits you disappeared, that I'm susceptible to. No, we're definitely, trust me, I'm going to show you. I found some things. I was kind of tearing up last night as to how the satanic spirit is in country music, but it's disguised as an angel of light and the means of love. And I was just like, man, that's because it made me feel. We'll get into that, but it made me feel like they were just. If you're calling these other things as great as God, which you'll see, then you're just trampling on God. You're taking, a woman and saying you'll get you'll get it. But so Marilyn Manson, when he did that interview with Channel 4 News, right, Jenny, it sounds like it should be nice, but it's not. Right, it's disguised in the means of love. All you need is love, right? But it's trampling on God, and that's where they're missing. He talks about Marilyn Manson talks about the tones and the vibrations that he used in the songs of his latest album. How's it going, Bill? And he really digs into it. It's like a 20-30 minute interview when he talks about being under the influence of certain. I think that's that interview where he's talking about drinking absinthe to record an album and stuff like that. Dude, why would you even listen to that? Especially because bro. No, I don't. I don't. I'm focusing on the lyrics here to show you that I don't go. But I was watching the interview with him, and the point that I'm getting at with Marilyn Manson is that he's admitting to the power behind the music and that he's actually using these things for evil. That's all I'm saying is, in the interview, it's like they're not even trying to hide it. The man's clearly saying, I understand how to use these tones and rhythms and to actually apply them into my songs to interrupt your spirit, to disrupt it. Buddy, I'm on the phone. And so like the guy's like talking about it, and that's that's the only thing, that's the only part that I was trying to get. That was the only point I was trying to make. Stop. So he loves you too. But he wants to go outside, like right now, because I'm sitting here on the phone. So, I don't know if all of you, I mean, the guy's got a much bigger channel than I do, but Round Saturn's Eye just did one called Nimrod, and it's important for the next one that I'm gonna do. He talks a little bit about what the mark of the beast actually is, and whether it is what him and the guy in the interview and is or not, whether it is what he says it could be or not. The point that I'm getting at with all this is that there are certain people in our lives, and in the next show I'll just give example after example of people that have spoken to stuff that we can't see. When I could see them, they were those dark, shadowy figures, or that little episode that happened the other night. But because whenever I first started to see them, there were like drugs involved. This was a year ago in that trailer at the house when I lived with my dad, and he kept telling me I was crazy and trying to shame me for being on the drug, and I shouldn't have been on the drug. Like, I get that, so all that made sense. But the point is, I'll get into the story later. But he was communicating with him. Like that's the truth. And the only reason he let it be known is because he believed that something was going to happen to me. And that's a delicate story. Maybe I'll just breeze over it. But there's literally hundreds of examples where it's like there's people that are taking orders or they're following directions from something, and I think that it is possible that maybe some people have a mark already that we can't see. I don't necessarily believe that we're absolutely in the times where everybody's got to take the mark or they can't buy or sell or trade, but throughout time there's been people like Nimrod, I mean, are there other people that are like at that level of it, that there's only two things that you can't be forgiven for: blaspheming the Holy Spirit, taking the mark. Anyway, I'll link to it later. Round Saturn's Eye, Nimrod, Mark of the Beast. Go check it out. Maybe after this. I really should just flip this around. I'm sorry, but that's the name of it. So I'm gonna start this out with a jolly little pop song called "Roar" by Katy Perry, and what it makes me think of. We've seen all the signs and symbols in Hollywood of the different things. Katy Perry did a song, I forget the name of it, but in the music video, the Eye of Ra is everywhere, and she's supposed to be this queen, and she's taking the souls of men, which pretty much goes back to Diana. Round Saturn's Eye has a thank you, Dark Horse. Round Saturn's Eye has a wonderful video about Hollywood next to Rome. There's a place, if y'all haven't seen it, please go see that, because the way that it connects to the Hollywood we have in Los Angeles and what it used to be in ancient times, right down the street from Rome, is just like jaw dropping. Like, dude's got a point. There's not nothing to it. Um, and I said like that on purpose. But anyway, so in the song "Roar," I know it's made to look like an empowering, a song for women about being empowering oneself. But I'm just gonna read it out and get to the point that I keep rambling. 11 minutes in, Jesus. So she says, "I used to bite my tongue and hold my breath, scared to rock the boat and make a mess. So I sat quietly, agreed politely. I guess that I forgot I had a choice. I let you push me past the breaking point. I stood for nothing, so I fell for everything. You held me down and I can't, I got the rhythm in my head. You held me down and I got up. Hey! Already brushing off the dust. You hear my voice. You hear that sound like thunder gonna shake the ground." I'm gonna stop right there. That's the first reference to. I was gonna turn all this around, but I see that it's gonna be a huge problem trying to pick my phone up. I'm just gonna go through it and pick my phone up when it's absolutely necessary. But that is a huge reference to Luke 10. And he replied, "I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven." And there are many other artists that have songs about thunder and lightning. Imagine Dragons has one, and in the song Lightning, it I forget who did it, whether it was Gonzo or Mike from On Point Preparedness, but it's like the beast coming out of the pit, and the technology. There's sheep in there and all that. But I'm sorry, I'm getting off. So anyway, she references like thunder gonna shake the ground. You held me down, you held me down, but I got up. Get ready, 'cause I had enough. I see it all. I see it now. I've got the eye of the tiger, a fighter. And again, whenever hearing this and listening to it, I don't necessarily always subject myself to just listening to music like that, Marilyn Manson and all that. However, I did listen to a lot of these songs before, not right before, but a couple weeks leading up to this, because it's the only way to. I mean, I've got God with me. It's one of those things where I'm asking for protection, be with me, and reveal these things to me. Like, I'm spending time with God listening to this, because again, it's like reading Sun Tzu's Art of War for me. Whenever I do this with God, with the right intentions, it's like God allows me to see. It's like taking a submarine into the ocean. The entire ocean is around you, and it wants to just crush you, but it can't, because that protection. However, I can still see, because I'm immersed in this music, what it should be doing to my mind, and I still get these clear images. And so listening to all this, when she says like thunder gonna shake the ground, I'm like, that was that reference. I've got the eye of the tiger. I get that, 80s song, but I hear his pain. I get that a lot too, Jenny from Five Finger Death Punch. There's been some remixes that guy's done to other songs where it's not just lyrics. But I've got the eye of the tiger. That's the one-eyed reference. I've got the eye of the tiger, a fighter dancing through the fire. 'Cause I am a champion, and you're gonna hear me roar, louder than a lion, the Lion of Judah. Because I am a champion, and you're going to hear me roar. And I'm not going to go through the rest of it. I know that this song is subjective. It will become more clear. But when again, spending time with the Father and listening to stuff like this, like I just get these images flashing through my head of I've got the eye of the tiger, the fighter, dancing through the fire. You know, like hell, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I've got my Savior, and you're gonna hear me roar louder than a lion. There's a certain line. There's a spirit behind it, even if Katy Perry doesn't know. You know, why would she choose? It's that throw it back in your face. I'm mightier than the Lion of Judah because I am a champion and you're going to hear me roar. So, again, I know it's subjective, but this is poetry. And I think it'll become a lot more clear, but I just see that so clearly. One second. And in the next song, I think this is the half these lyrics are written for them, and it's the agenda at hand. Yeah, definitely. He's driving me crazy. We're gonna put him on a leash and see if he doesn't bark. Y'all just have to, you know. I just got home from work. He's been in all day. All right, chill, bro. Hang tight. I'll tell you one other strange thing. It's just, and I know people don't want to put their address on whatever, but that creeps me out. The 2 into 1, like that's how I see it. I don't know. It's not going to affect me. I don't think that anything is by chance. And I just see that as what happened before, what I went through didn't work out, and that's the next plan. To bring the 2 into 1. We know there's a lot of symbolism with 2 into 1 there. And if they can't kill me or destroy me, but that's a whole nother video. I just, again, spending time with God, there's something to that, you know, I didn't just happen to move to an address that made that much sense. Dream On, Aerosmith. Every time when I look in the mirror and when I see this, when I hear it, I'm thinking of a scrying mirror. He's not just talking about. He's not just talking about looking into the mirror, but it could be. Again, it's poetry. All these lines in my face getting clear. The past is gone. It went by like dust to dawn. I don't know. I don't know if I want to get into it. It's just always the son of the morning star. Excuse me, the nighttime's always the darkest, Lucifer, the light bringer, you know, like, poetically, like, what I had before wasn't enough until enlightenment. Isn't that the way? Everybody's got their dues in life to pay. Now, I don't know if I could explain this in this stream, but I've talked about it before where there are people that absolutely hate me, just can't stand me. And there were people that felt really, really bad, but they were underneath some power or principality or some belief system at least that they didn't want to be a part of, but the consequences of that were like they had to do it. Mark 10:8, and the two will become one flesh. Says they no longer two, but one flesh. Yeah? Well, hopefully God sends me the right woman and throws it in her face. Yeah, Bill. I mean, I liked it too. It's a classic song, but there's magic in this, and you'll see it. And when he says everybody's got their dues in life to pay, in the next video, I think that it will become clearer again, but there were things that I've talked about before where people were working some sort of iniquity. That's the most plain way to say it. There were magical things going on. I was taking drugs. That is a way to, take a potion, and people using it to their advantage. And before I had spiritual eyes to see what was going on, they were just using it. I was raised in this system of, well, that's just what people do to feel better. So there had to be some spirit always making me depressed and making me feel worthless. As a matter of fact, there are spirits out there that have taken a lot of effort to make me miserable, to the point that that's what I wasn't searching for Jesus. And And that's what it just led me to, because I was just so much negative thinking, so much negative thinking. And if you're not feeding yourself with healthy things, or giving it over to God or Jesus, then there are other spirits that just walk in, you know what I mean? And they're just like, you're worthless, you're worthless, you're worthless, you're worthless. And then it's like, I need some sense of relief. And, what's up, Wascally Rabbit? Uh, I, I got a handmade today with Job 40. I must have missed something. I don't know. Okay. He's driving me nuts. Y'all gotta forgive me. I know this is so disorganized. One second. Get in here now. I don't. Come on. Come on. Come on. We're not doing this. No. 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 I got people waiting. We have guests. Come on. Inside. Go. Good boy. Anyway. So sorry. So sorry. Um. Anyway, let me get back to it. I'm sorry, y'all. When he says that everybody's got dues in life to pay, there were people in my life that were working iniquity, trying to get me to accept sin, and they were all working together, even though like one person would create a situation where for that hopelessness, and the other person would do drugs with me, and then there would be other people that would try to work like sexual iniquity and stuff like that. So it was in ways cleverly disguised where I couldn't see the connection. But I finally, I don't know, I've talked about it before where I've said, I finally figured out how this person was connected to this one. They were always talking, like they would say certain things that the other person would say, and this is all in hindsight. So anyway, the point is, whatever those dues were had something to do with it. Didn't matter if they were family, didn't matter if they were friends. They were specifically placed in my life to get me to accept sin and destroy my own life. And when those spirits started manifesting, and I could see them clear as day, and I would have cuts and scrapes and all that. I mean, if y'all saw the previous couple of videos, y'all saw how scared I was the other night, because that's what started right before it started to get kind of violent and really scary. But all that's kind of stopped now. And kick them out the house. And so the point that I'm getting at with everybody's got dues in life to pay is that there's something there where they're tied to this bind of I would say it's like I don't want to say human sacrifice, but it's like trying to get someone to destroy their own life. And again, I know it's open to interpretation, but that's just what I feel when I read it. I know nobody knows where it comes or where it goes. I know it's everybody's sin. You've got to lose to win. Wait, you got to lose to know how to win. And that right there is like whenever I hear that, it's like he's talking about crossing over and taking that mark and being in that group of I don't know. There's just, for a certain reason, I know that I've been treated differently. There are many people, y'all seen many testimonies of people that just don't fit in, and are surrounded with people. And when he says you got to lose to know how to win, like I think there's a lot of people that have given up their children. Uh, there are still people giving up their children to idols. It's not as clear as them giving it to a statue, and the statue tosses it in the fire of its belly now. But when I tell you I've seen things manifest from thin air, it really makes sense to me as to what was going on around the time when these people were trying to create these situations where the sin looked like the most pleasing option. And it just, I see the connection there, and I really hope I can put it into words when I really talk about it next. Yes, I agree, Jimmy. That is what abortion is. That it is a ritual. I mean, it's absolutely a ritual, disguised as medical. I'm gonna go off here, but I honestly, man, I know that we're more powerful than we know, and it's not that we would be the people, healing, because it's the spirit within us, but it's based on those people's faith, and somewhere there was a breakdown with at least the knowing that we could do this, and because the people who have the ailments don't have the faith that through this person who's laying hands on them, God can do that. That's what stops it from happening, because it is that simple. Like, we really are more than we know. Half my life is in books, written pages. Live and learning from fools and from sages. I know I said that in the other video. I'm pretty sure that, I don't know, again, it's open to interpretation what he's saying about the books, written pages. But, alright, see you later, Bill. I get the strongest feeling he's talking about like a grim, I don't know how to say it, but books of magic, stuff's about magic and how to work magic. He's not talking about like my life is in books, they're writing about me. He's talking about the stuff that he does, that he's learned from the books that he's reading. And the fools are the people like us who can't see these spirits and talk to them. Again, that part will become clear, and whenever I do that follow-up video about this. The sages are the people that work the magic, and the fools are all of us that are not under the covenant of Jesus, as far as like just not seeking God. I do believe that there are some ignorant, and God, we serve a just, loving God. Like the only reason that stuff happened to me is because people would mention God and I would throw it back in their face. But the people that are just like, I don't understand because of the way that they were raised, like God's gonna reveal himself to them in whichever way that he needs to. He's smarter than us. But I think that the reason why some of that stuff manifests was because of my full-on rejection of him. And that's what made me subjective to the magic of what some of these individuals are trying to do. Anyway, he goes, sing with me, sing for the years, sing for laughter, sing for the tears, sing with me just for today. Maybe tomorrow the good Lord will take you away. The good Lord he's talking about, I don't think that he's talking about the same, people say Lord, and we automatically think that they're talking about the same God that we say Lord to. And I generally don't call him Lord myself, but I'm just saying that there's a deception there. So this next verse, this song will become like blatantly obvious, but Philippians 2:10-11 says that every name of Jesus, this is the New King James Version, that at the name of Jesus every knee should bow, of those in heaven and of those on earth and of those under the earth, and that every tongue should confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. And I say that because with that in mind, with every knee should bow and every tongue confess, now we're going to get into how it's blatantly, the other stuff is poetic, it's subjective. Let's talk about the Antichrist spirit singing through a human, just using a person. I mentioned this once before. Band Breaking Benjamin. There's a song called "I Will Not Bow." Please stop. In the beginning, it says he just screams, "Fall! Now the dark begins to rise. Save your breath; it's far from over." And I think in this, he's going back and forth between speaking to God and talking to his children. Like, it's not, there may be something where, I know God is all around us, he's with us everywhere, but it's almost as if God and Jesus are within us, it's like he can get the message to him, speaking directly to us, but he's talking to us and him at the same time. I used to love that band too. Like, I listened to their music all the time because it made me feel great. But did it really? It just made me feel powerful. It made me feel mighty. I guess a lot more like a giant. In my own mind is that spirit of like, I could tear anything down. I used to. I'm seriously humble now. Like, I'm just not even gonna. but my attitude and all that, I carried myself differently, and anyway, now the dark begins to rise. Save your breath, it's far from over. Leave the lost and dead behind. Now's your chance to run for cover. I don't want to change the world. I just want to leave it colder. Light the fuse and burn it up. Take the path that leads to nowhere. There's even a lot of Christian music that has been compromised. I agree with you because though I love some of the new songs that have come out, the things that I think of when I hear Back to the Garden by Crowder or Chains, it's got a Christianese to it, but I feel I know I keep stopping, but in that song Chains by David Gray, and I listen to it sometimes, it's a lot, and it's got a great beat to it, but I feel a spirit calling those that have been, again, it's back to here's my point with that, and I'll get into it in another video. I don't believe the rapture is the way that we've been taught that it's going to be. Everybody all at once, that's it, poof, you're gone, there's clothes everywhere, this and that. I believe that if I have a personal relationship with God and Jesus, that whenever God says this is going to be it, or at the last second, whenever, that's going to be my destruction, or going to be the point that I'm going to fall as a victim of Satan to whatever, and not be able to overcome something that because I'm too weak, not because God is, then I would be raptured. Me, personally, myself. And the same for you. And how much easier would it be for Lucifer to hide that if it was individual? Now, the same with the mark of the beast. There's something, and you'll have to go check out that Round Saturn's Eye video, but there's something that they do that they change over, and it's on an individual basis. Like, it is a conscious choice. You yourself have to do it. Stop. To cross over to that no forgiveness for that, right? And I forget where I was going with that. The point that I don't even know what got me on that, but it's like in a lot of this music, I can hear the spirit of something wanting to break back into heaven and go to war with God and go to war against the saints. And you have to, if you put yourself in the shoes of a fallen entity, like, that's home to them. Like, they want to get back, and of course they're gonna want to go to war with the children of God. So, like, this is what they would do. I gotta check my battery. All right, I'm doing all right. So all is lost again. Oh, take the path that leads to nowhere. All this, the guy's talking about over and over throughout Breaking Benjamin songs. He's talking about you'll hear a switch. There's a part, and I'll get into the second verse. You'll see what I'm talking about. There's a point where there is no return to whatever they once were, and he's trying to provoke everyone else to do it too. And then I just missed your comment, but Chevelle says the same thing. I don't know about trap. I'm not saying that it's good. Like, if it's not somebody saying I sing for Jesus, then chances are they've been promoted by something else. But in all of the music, that's a key factor that I keep seeing is that join us. This is so. Anyway, all is lost again, but I'm not giving in. I will not bow. I will not break. I will shut this world away. I will not fall. I will not fade. I will take your breath away. And I think he's talking to God about his children. Fall. Watch the end through dying eyes. And this is about the wolf dwell. Anyway, open to it. This is my interpretation of it. It's the enemy causing destruction on the children of God, thrown in his face. Watch the end through dying eyes. Now the dark is taken over. And that's when they switch. Show me where forever dies. That is like, when I hear him, the way that he sings it, I can see him looking up at God as like a fallen angel, because they've been around all this time. Like, we haven't been destroyed. Like throwing it in his face. Show me where forever dies. Take the fall and run to heaven. These aren't just words. Like, they're poetically singing to each other. And put yourself in the shoes of someone that we can't know everything in the way that they feel, but if you had taken that mark, if you had made that decision, how much more would you know what I mean? Like you would feel rejected. Even it is your fault, but at the point of no return, like that's it. So this is all I have. Like how much more would you support this? Like I know what comes in the end. I'm going to support the enemy, but it's a false love. It's not a real love relationship with Lucifer. It's like I'm gonna join this team because I'm already damned. Um, all is lost again, but I'm not giving in. I will not bow. I will not bow. I will not break. I will shut the world away. I will not fall. I will not fade. I will take your breath away. And I'll survive, paranoid. I have lost the will to change. And I am not proud, cold blooded fake. I will shut the world away. And in that, I have lost the will to change. I am not proud, cold blooded fake. To me, that goes back to the war with the saints. I just see it clearly that there's those people, the gang stalking part, before I saw it, the people placed in my life working iniquity, the fakery of the friendship. I love you, man. You know, I mean, there were people in my family that sang in the church, you know, and so it's not as simple as it's not some cloaked figure walking around carrying pentagrams. Like, if you go back to the phrase the pros and the cons, you know, the cons were the con men, and the pros were like the ones that were the professionals. Your con man is the guy that works you out of your watch on the street. The pro is the guy that robs the bank and gets away with it. Like they're on the same like crime. You see what I'm saying? So there are pros in churches, like the most clean cut people and nice. Like they're not. You know what I mean? Like they're extremely deceptive, and that does exist in this world. Um, the next thing, I had a picture of Diana up. Again, it's going to be hard to keep going back and forth on my computer because I wanted to put y'all in the mind frame of the Huntress. I will show you this real quick. This is Rise Against homepage, and that is Wolf. Now, I don't know if y'all can see it clearly. This sucks. But it says Rise Against Wolf available now. And it's a big picture of a wolf. Remember that we're not as limited in this place as we feel. No, you are very special and very loved. The fact that you see the enemy is a clue to that. Well, thank you, Rabbit. And I agree. I get discouraged because, I mean, it is lonely here, but there's a reason that they're keeping me away from. There's a reason I haven't found fellow believers close to me that I can reach out and actually fellowship with. So I mean, and it's great because I found all of you, but it is, I don't know, it is frustrating to not have a physical friendship with anyone. But I do have trust issues given everything that I've been through. I'm kind of not really paranoid, but I do have trust issues. I mean, I'm honest about it. But I treat everybody with love. It's just I can't get close to anybody because I see, I don't know. There's spirits everywhere. Um, so anyway, I bring up the thing about the wolf because that's a reoccurring factor. Breaking Benjamin has a song called "Feed the Wolf," which I might get into if I have time today. There's a song called "Re-Education Through Labor." It's basically I get the same feeling with it when they're talking to God. So I'll get into it, but I wanted to put you in the mind frame of Diana the Huntress because Nobleness did a video a while back when I first started my channel about the population of New York and how much it shrank. And we've all seen the map changes on the Mandela effect and how different they are, and like Florida and all that. And it does seem that there was like there's something that the enemy is feeding off of, and it doesn't. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. It's not something that it needs to be argued about or like. It's just something that I think is important because I do believe that there are people that something happened to, for whatever reason. God chose us to not allow that to happen to. And not that I'm necessarily one of his elect, but he's not finished with me. So because of the reaction that I got from other people when they expected it to work and it didn't, over and over and over. Again, that's the next video, but that's why I believe that. And I bring up Noble's video because of the population was so different and he found so much evidence of how much bigger it was. And if it's like that in New York, then it's probably like that all over. And I just think that there's a portion of the population that the wolves, the enemy, were working iniquity, and they fell into it, and something happened. But that's again, I'll get into why I believe that. It's not just something I just came up with. But so this is about, to me, this is about that wolf trying to feed after the lamb, and he's singing to the God of heaven, to the sound of a heartbeat pounding away. And it's as if like they can hear it, that actual heartbeat, to the rhythm of the awful rusted machines. We toss and turn but don't sleep. Ain't no rest for the wicked. There's the song, but there is no rest for the wicked. That's what came to mind when I hear that. Each breath we take makes us thieves. Now, hearing this, you would think each breath we take, but what he's talking about when I hear it is each breath we take makes us thieves, meaning each life that we snatch out of existence, like causes without rebels, just talk but promise nothing else. I used to listen to heavy metal. That part of girls would go to negotiate. Reagan Benjamin, that's sad. It was a decade ago. We want to. Well, I mean, I guess there's. I don't know. Well, I guess if you play Christian music at a party, people will be like, "Well, I'm not drinking to this. There's a spirit on it." Oh, it makes you start feeling guilty for wanting to feed your flesh. Um, but anyway, we crawl on our knees for you, under a sky no longer blue. We sweat all day long for you. But we sow seeds to see us through. That's again feeding off the sheep. But sometimes dreams just don't come true. We wait to reap what we are due. And in that, I guess whenever I hear it, it's I can hear, you know what I mean? We're going to reap what we sow. We know what we have sown, and we're past that point of, if it's not this gentleman in the band, there's either someone out there that wrote this song or a spirit on top of it that's saying like, we know what we're gonna reap, and it just keeps reoccurring in music, but people buy tickets and sing along, and that's why they call us the fools. Like, that's the point that I'm trying to get at. Like, back to the fool thing, Bush did a song called "The Little Things That Kill." I might go over it. I know I've been at this for a little minute, and I think that what he's talking about is sin. Um, and in the middle of it, in the bridge, she says, when he says something, I don't want to get in. It's kind of got a sexual nature to it. I'm addicted to the fools. I kill you once, I'll kill you again. I'm I forget. I'm stumbling crude. Welcome, my friend, to the little things that kill. And I can just tell he's talking about sin. I'm addicted to the fools. Like, what did he? These aren't just lyrics. He's not. We might go over that later. But they're talking like, I see something here, and the oppression that I've been under with people. Like, I can hear them singing about it, and it's clear to me, and I hope I'm making sense, because I'm trying trying to. But we crawl on our knees for you, under a sky no longer blue. We sweat all day long for you. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I already read all that. We wait to reap what we are due. To the rhythm of a time bomb ticking away, and the blare of the sirens combing the streets. Now, in the Book of Enoch, the women that defiled themselves with the fallen angels, God I don't know if that is the book. It might be in the second or third one, which is not the same as the first Enoch. Um, I forget the reference. I don't want to reference it wrong, but I'm pretty certain. I guess I need to just Google it. But whenever I was thinking this over, at least open to interpretation, whether it does say it in Enoch or not, because I don't want to misquote it. Um, I don't think he's talking about the sirens of a cop car. The imagery that I get when hearing this is a siren is like a mermaid, but they eat men. You know, they come up, they look all beautiful because they're half lady, and then they lure them in and then they eat them, and that's in different mythologies and stuff like that. Like it's not just the sirens are not like Pretty Little Mermaid singing to you. Maybe they did sing, who knows? But there's something there feeding off of the children of God, and oh, I won't get into that. All right, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it to the country because I've rambled a lot longer than I thought that I was going to. So country is some of the I don't necessarily get into it, but it's some of the like most feel good music. You know what I mean? I mean that's the closest to like that good old, like, I know I'm giving two different eras, two different genres here, but like that, if you listen to like the Temptations, how good they felt, you know what I mean? I guess like country, some country new age music, that's all they talk about is feeling good and feeling happy, and it's more upbeat. It's not violent like rock and roll or rap music. They have a positive message in what they sing, and so now I'm going to give a great example of how they have corrupted, taken that positive image and tried to corrupt. They're just defiling the name of God. There's a gentleman by the name of Kane Brown. He sings a song called Heaven, and I'm just going to read the lyrics. You tell me what you think. This is perfect. Come kiss me one more time. I could dream this up, even if I tried. You and me in this moment feels like magic only. I'm right where I want to be. Everybody's talking about heaven like they just can't wait to go. Saying how it's going to be so good, so beautiful. Lying next to you in this bed with you, I ain't convinced. Because I don't know how. I don't know how heaven couldn't be better than this. I don't know. I don't know why it bothers me. Well, I know why it bothers me, but I, I was kind of breaking down last night. Not not like sobbing, but it does. I don't know. It affects me emotionally because this is just demonic, and it's painted in the most beautiful way. Because it's a love song. This is supposed to be a love song, but they're trampling on the name of God and what He stands for with this and the next one. I swear you're an angel sent to this world. What did I do right to deserve you, girl? I could stay here forever. I'll be fine if we never had to even leave this room. And then he repeats and repeats about wishing that heaven couldn't be better than this. And right after that, as I'm doing this research, good old Florida Georgia Line popped up right behind him. Which they mostly just sing songs about drinking beer and hanging with the girls. And so, even though I made a desperate attempt to try and figure out what the acronym HOLY stood for, I could not find why they put a period in between all the letters. I mean, it spells holy, but so I can't find like what that, you know what I mean? Is acronym the right word? It stands for something. Like whenever whenever you do that, like each letter means something, and I cannot find any information. I think that dives into the hidden hand, but anyway. When the sun had left and the winter came, and the sky fall could only bring the rain, I sat in darkness, all broken hearted. I couldn't find a day I didn't feel alone. I never meant to cry, started losing hope. But somehow, baby, you broke through and saved me. You're an angel. Tell me you're never leaving. 'Cause you're the first thing I know I can believe in. You're holy. Holy, holy, holy. I'm high on loving you. High on loving you. You're holy. Holy, holy, holy. I'm high on loving you. High on loving you. You've made the brightest days from the darkest nights. You're a riverbank where I was baptized. Cleanse all the demons that were killing my freedom. Let me lay you down. Give me to you. Get you singing, baby, hallelujah. We'll be touching heaven. And then he repeats, you are holy, 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 holy. And if that is not trampling on what is holy, I don't know what is. I mean, and one, really, the Kane Brown song, Heaven, and this song really ties into that interview. Just really encourage you when you get some time. Check out Round Saturn's Eye. And the Nimrod thing, he keeps singing about you're an angel, and the guy even mentions in the interview, what did the people want to do at Sodom and Gomorrah when they saw the angels? I always took it as angels are beautiful, but there's more to that, and the guy brings that up, why someone would want to have relations with an angel. Even at Sodom and Gomorrah, they were trying to take them. It wasn't even like because they were righteous angels, they didn't want to defile themselves, but it didn't matter to the people. They were like, we will have them, and you will give them to us. And in both of these songs, these two different groups of gentlemen were talking about, and they're singing to an angel. They're saying it. You're an angel, and having relations with them. And we receive that poetically as, oh, you pretty little angel, you girl. But I think that there's something darker to it. It's just what I get from it, and yeah, I already went over that. I couldn't find what does holy stand for. Back to the wolf thing. Breaking Benjamin had a song called "Feed the Wolf," and it's just, I don't know. This is all dark stuff. The only point that I'm trying to get to with all this is that they've been singing about this stuff for years. And besides the backmasking and all the magic that they put into music and the tones that they use, and they study this like a science, so they know it, but they're saying stuff to us in poetry form. And with discernment, you can see they're not talking about what they're trying to make it appear as they're talking about. And I'm not so sure that even the people around us saying that's all they're singing about believe that, you know. They yeah, 3-6 Mafia. Yeah. I used to listen to them as a kid. It was a great influence on my life. But the stuff that these people are singing about, they're giving that wink and the nod to Lucifer, and they put it in the most poetic way that they possibly can. The only reason I brought up the Marilyn Manson thing was in the song "The Beautiful People." He says, "Capitalism has made it this way. Capitalism's got us where we're at now, whether you're a capitalist or not, like you're in this capitalistic environment. Old-fashioned fascism will take it away." And when I saw that, I was like, the whole Antifa movement and how they're destroying like freedom of opinion. They're not really destroying like free speech as a whole, but there's these groups out there that are destroying the freedom of opinion, and to where, they'll march into conferences where I don't necessarily agree with everything Jordan Peterson has said. But but they've like marched in on him when he's at a college giving a conference and talking about stuff. And I'm just like, what is, I'm just using them as an example. That whole fascist, like, if you look at their symbol and the old fascist flag, it like matches up. And so Marilyn Manson singing about this in like 1999, like, it just told me that there was something there, that like they knew the route that they were going to go in the future. Maybe not everything that was going to happen, but the way that things would sort of be. Please stop. This is like being on a phone and your kids are like, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. Anyway, look, I don't want to take up too much of y'all's time. I know that was really disorganized. I appreciate you all for coming. I just wanted to show. I don't know. I can't paint the picture that's in my head, but use discernment with everything, because especially in the country where it's made to look like a love song. There was another example I had, but I've forgotten it. You get the point. But this stuff is right in front of our face, and it's made that way so they laugh at us like the fools that we are from their perspective, because they're like, we're telling them, we're throwing it right out there. He says you're an angel, but we just, those fools think that he's talking about his wife when he's actually talking about, receiving something from a fallen angel. And again, it's open to interpretation, so you can't be like, I can prove this. But all I'm saying is whenever I do hear these lyrics and I hear the spirit behind them in the song, there's like this wave of all the different emotions and the hopelessness. Like I forget who it was. I'll have to scroll back up, but some of the stuff, I feel their pain too. The stuff that they're singing about, like I'll get into that later, but there really is something where I just think that there are some. It's not that they've fallen out of the grace of God, but if you have reached a point that you've gotten past that point and received a mark, and now I'm gonna get into the powers and stuff. I sound like I'm just talking crazy talk right now, but I've experienced stuff where people could do things that I couldn't, and God has blessed me in certain instances where, but it's a fruits of the spirit thing. I'm talking about, it's based on perception. Not only can they see certain entities that we can't see, but I've seen, I'll get into it later, but like somebody looking through a wall. And I mean looking through a wall. There's no way that there was a camera there, and there would have been no way for them to view it from where they were at in the situation I was in. This whole obsession with super. I know I'm getting too deep into it, but I'm just. I don't know. I really shouldn't have went into that, but my point is that it seems to me that there are those that have accepted something around us, and it is now their job to either get us to destroy ourselves or to get us to accept that too. And I know that it sounds however it sounds, but hopefully I'll be able to give all the examples correctly and far more organized than I did today. I'm sorry about all that. I hope you all got something out of this. I heard people that do hard drugs and no connection to God see some weird stuff, probably demonic entities. Yeah, I mean it's magic. It is magic, and I didn't see it that way when I was like a full blown drug addict, in the way that everything. Oh, it was a YouTube comment I saw. It it is magic. I mean, it's when I realized that people were actually using it as a means to get me to commit even more sin, and that these entities, and then I'll get into that, some of that story tomorrow, because there was some really crazy stuff, but I'm just trying to reveal that, this way that these people are communicating. Yeah, I mean, Crowley kind of taught all them, or he at least carried it from others before him, that trying to tell people this is how you should do things, and then we just say, what did he mean by walk and talk backwards? Well, some people pick it up as backmasking, but um, it's just hidden. It's just right underneath, for someone else to be able to say that as long as they do it and make it to where it's speculative or open to interpretation, and you can't prove it. I can't prove any of this, but I can tell you I feel a spirit from this, and and it's dark on each and every one of them. Um, anyway, I skipped a few of the songs. I'll probably bring them up, uh, maybe in the next video. I did want to say one more thing, before I go. There is a site that I have it's called the WiccanFamilyTemple.org. It's a New York City Wiccan family temple, and they have a calendar from. I'm not supporting them. I mean, I'm using it. Again, this is like the Sun Tzu, the Art of War. There's certain pagan festivals, certain things that they do on certain days. Oprah Studio is Harpo. Her channel is own, and NATO is O10 too. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's right. I've seen that connection as well from other videos, but I forget which day it actually was, and I don't want to take any more time like turning on the TV and go into to channel 4 to I can tell you the exact date that it comes on, and it's Channel 4 News in Great Britain, and the other day they had something come out. It was on the 21st, and they were talking about reports of sheep abuse. Like and I didn't even click on it. You could see it was like the shears beaten. They treat those things horrible. But this happened to be on the festival of Hecate, invoking the protection of the sun goddess, uh, because now the invoking her protection to protect the harvest now that God resides within her aspect as the earth goddess. So, like, the sun goddess has come into. I don't know who Hecate is, but on August 21st, they come out with a video talking about sheep abuse. And a few days before that, on which happened to be, what are you doing, computer? At the point, it might take, okay, on uh, this thing's messed up. But either July 31st or August 2nd. Oh, I'm sorry, August 1st. Um, they did an interview with a rapper who is apparently popular in Great Britain or Ireland. I think he's Irish. I might have that. I barely watched it. I'm pretty sure Irish. And the rapper's name was Loki. And they happened to release this interview on the day of the festival of Loki. Day to honor the Norse trickster god Loki and his consort Sigyn. I don't really care about their festivals. This is not to bring, like, well, pay more attention to what they're doing on this day. Just keep focusing on Jesus and God. But I'm just showing how in the entertainment business, like if you would have just seen, and it was in your culture and you knew who the rapper Loki was, you'd be like, oh, they got an interview with him. But they happen to release it on the same day as the festival of Loki. That's just that wink and the nod at that satanic system. You know what I mean? Like none of this stuff is done by accident, and it's in our news. It's in television. It's everywhere. We've seen the signs and symbols. Like plenty of people have done videos about that. I was just trying to focus on the poetry of it, and how like it's right in front of us and just disguised, and that's just another fine example of how on the mainstream news, like they're like Loki, you know what I mean, nothing is by accident, nothing. All this stuff is planned and thought out, and I guess my greatest advice would be is to don't like just keep the blinders on running down the rabbit hole trying to figure it out, because that's where they want you to just become the rabbit, steady forever chasing that never ending what is it, Mandela. It just keeps going and turning into another picture of their own device. But but however, to use discernment, and so that you don't, become a part of some of this. As far as, like, it is in Christian music too. Somebody said that earlier. There are some Christian songs I do not feel that are like praise and worship of, like, it doesn't feel like it's exalting the Father. And I see that more and more. It's disguised pretty cleverly, like an angel of light. But anyway, thank all of y'all for joining. I'm gonna end it now. I'm sure my battery is almost done. I appreciate you all for showing up. I hope I didn't bore you, and I hope I paid enough attention to the chat. Thanks, Ultra, Wojak, um, and Adam and everybody. I don't know who's still here and who's not. Wascally Rabbit, Jimmy. I don't know if you're still, everybody, Jenny, whoever's still here. I'm gonna go ahead and leave. Thank y'all for showing up. God bless, and y'all have a good day.